Hey there, and welcome to This Explainer. Listen, if you're a focused learner looking to truly figure out the mechanics of your own mind, you are in exactly the right place today. We're unpacking something we all struggle with, which is that super frustrating, often completely overwhelming experience of just being hijacked by our own sudden emotional reactions. And actually, here's a wild little fact to kick us off. Your amygdala, the alarm bell of your brain, it actually processes emotional information milliseconds before your logical cortex even gets the memo. So we all experience this physical hijacking, but the source material we're digging into today offers this brilliantly structured way to decode what is actually going on inside our heads. Okay, so let's dive into this by validating a deeply, deeply relatable problem. Tell me, have you ever just completely lost your temper or felt this massive wave of intense anxiety over something incredibly minor, like you drop a spoon and suddenly it feels like the whole world is ending? Well, our emotions originally evolved to keep us alive. Specifically, they were meant to help us survive ancient threats, right? Like hunting water buffalo on the savannah. When we're scared, our biology screams at us to run. When we're angry, it wants us to fight and break things. So really, by design, our emotional systems are constantly overreacting to the safety of the modern world. Section 1. The Hidden Emotion Trap. Misreading our own reactions. So the real danger here isn't just that our biology makes us overreact. It's that we misread our own reactions. We fall into this trap of confusing where our intense emotional responses are actually coming from, which makes it pretty much impossible to respond to what's really happening right in front of us. And the book draws a very specific scientific distinction to help you make sense of this. On one side, we have integral emotions. These are directly caused by whatever is happening right this second, like feeling immense joy when you're falling in love, or a sudden, totally justified spike of fear if a car swerves into your lane on the highway. But on the flip side, we have incidental emotions. These are feelings that have absolutely zero direct connection to the present moment. They are literally just lingering baggage from the past. The tricky part is that an incidental emotion heavily influences and distorts your current behavior, even though it doesn't belong in the present at all. Let's put this into perspective. Say you get an incredibly stressful passive-aggressive email from your boss at 9 a.m. You don't deal with it, you just kind of swallow that frustration. Fast forward to 7 p.m. You're at the dinner table, your partner asks a super simple question about doing the dishes, and boom, you absolutely bite their head off. That right there? That's an incidental emotion masquerading as your current reality. You totally distort your perspective, and you end up treating the person in front of you as the cause of your pain. And obviously, that damages your present relationships and keeps you stuck in this awful negative cycle. Moving on to Section 2. Why emotions aren't facts. Breaking the illusion. Because incidental emotions feel so incredibly real and visceral in the moment, they create this really powerful illusion. They basically trick us into mistaking our subjective, internal feelings for objective, undeniable truths about the world. We think, well, I feel attacked right now, so this person sitting across from me must be attacking me. We absolutely have to break that illusion. And that's exactly why the text points out that emotions are valuable, sure, but they are not facts. Think of them more like signals. They give you incredible insight into your inner life, but they aren't these rigid commandments that get to dictate your behavior. Honestly, it's best to treat your emotions like winds that blow through you. You observe them, you feel the chill or the warmth, but you don't just automatically believe the distorted story they're trying to sell you. So, how do you figure out if you're stuck in an illusion? You can actually use the inform versus effect test. This is a brilliant little mental check to see if an incidental emotion is distorting your view of reality. If I tell you 2 plus 2 equals 4, or hey, it's 7 p.m., you're simply informed, right? You accept the data, process it, and move on. But if someone makes a minor comment, like maybe a coworker suggests a tiny little edit to your presentation, and you feel this massive surge of anger or defensiveness or shame, well, you are being affected. That intense, totally disproportionate reaction, that is your giant flashing neon sign that an incidental emotion, like an old insecurity or some past trauma, has just been triggered. Which brings us to Section 3, the cognitive triangle, where you can intervene. Okay, so what do we actually do when we realize we've been hijacked by an incidental emotion? This is where we pivot to the solution. We need to know exactly where we have the power to step in and break the cycle. Enter the cognitive triangle. This consists of your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. Now, the text points out that these 3 nodes are completely interdependent. It's like a loop. Your thoughts immediately influence your feelings, those feelings drive your physical actions, and then those actions turn right back around to reinforce your original thoughts. But here is the incredible power of this framework. If you interrupt the cycle at literally any one of these points by actively challenging a thought, or taking a breath to just sit with a feeling instead of running from it, or even just physically changing your posture, you completely alter the outcome. You have the power to change your life just by breaking one single link in the chain. Let's talk tools in Section 4, Regulating with Ruler, your emotional toolkit. To actually put that intervention into practice, the source material gives us some incredibly actionable tool sets to manage our incidental baggage. The first big framework is called Ruler, and the foundational tool for Ruler is the mood meter. It basically maps out your current state using two super simple metrics: your energy level and how pleasant you feel. So if your energy is running high but you feel awful, you are operating in the red zone. Think anger, fear, or high stress. If your energy is super low and you still feel awful, you're in the blue zone. So sadness, exhaustion, or disappointment. And the author makes a great point here. Simply stopping to realize that you are currently in a red or blue zone is the absolute first step to emotional intelligence. Because, let's face it, you simply cannot fix what you haven't even acknowledged. So the mood meter really helps with that first step of the Ruler acronym, which is recognize. You recognize exactly where you are on the grid. From there, we move to understand, which means asking yourself what underlying event actually triggered this feeling in the first place. Next up is label. Accurately putting a precise name to what you're feeling, like saying, hey, I'm feeling really inadequate right now, instead of just I am mad, literally strips those incidental emotions of their overwhelming power. Then we express it properly. Expressing might just be calmly telling your partner, look, I'm feeling really overwhelmed right now and I just need 5 minutes. And finally, we regulate. Regulating could be as simple as taking 10 deep, slow breaths before you hit reply on an email. By understanding the source and putting an accurate label on the emotion, you basically graduate from being a victim of your feelings to becoming the deliberate manager of them. Finally, let's hit Section 5, the radar method, navigating in the moment. Now, Ruler is a fantastic tool for building your overall emotional intelligence. But what about when you're literally in the heat of a screaming match or a super high-pressure meeting? Well, the text introduces a secondary framework specifically designed to help us stop reacting blindly in those intense split-second moments. It's called the RADAR method, and it boils down to 3 quick, actionable steps. First, reflect. You take a literal step back, pause, and simply observe what is happening inside your mind without judging yourself for it. Second, describe. You name your inner reality to yourself using honest, non-blaming words. And finally, respond. Because you created that tiny little pocket of space, you can now act with actual intention. You can choose a response that aligns with the person you want to be instead of just automatically reacting based on past emotional trauma. And really, the central theme to making all of these tools work is the practice of non-attachment. Now, it's absolutely crucial to understand that this is not about becoming some emotionless robot or suppressing how you feel. It is quite the opposite, actually. Non-attachment is about feeling your emotions fully, letting them exist, but absolutely refusing to let them define who you are or dictate what you do. By practicing non-attachment, you allow those heavy incidental emotions to move through you, just like that gust of wind we talked about earlier, without letting them grab the steering wheel and drive your reality. You feel the anger, sure, but you don't become the anger. So, as we wrap up this explainer today, I really want to leave you with a challenge. The next time you find yourself in a conflict, before you react, just take a breath, look at the situation right in front of you, and ask yourself this one specific question. Are my feelings integral to right now, or are they incidental baggage from my past? Once you learn to spot the difference, you stop letting old resentments dictate your future. It's a real game changer. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive. Keep learning, keep growing, and I'll catch you in the next one.